Hello, and welcome to the Say Yes Movement Podcast with Heather and John, where we help you with your personal and professional growth, helping you say yes to all the scary stuff. Hey, Heather, how are you today?
I am good. It is Friday. It is Celebration Fridays. And for everyone tuning in and listening to us live, we want to know what you are celebrating for this week. Because
Yes.
remember, when we do that reflection, when we train our brain to find all the things that are going well, our brain will keep looking for the things that are going well. And disconnect from the anxiety of the things that aren't going so good. Good morning, Moise. So good to see you on here. Moise, I'd love to hear what you are celebrating this week. So, John, what are you celebrating this week? What has gone
Oh,
on?
usually I ask you first. So, okay, I'll go first today.
Yes.
Um, so today, actually, this week's been an incredible week. Right? I've had some great connections with new clients, meeting new people. Uh, but here's, it's been an incredibly busy week, right? With everything that's been going on. And here's what I'm celebrating today. Today, I'm celebrating that I'm working from home. And I'm super excited because I've been on the road the last couple of days. And listen, I love being on the road. I love being out. I love being in person with people. But I'm super excited. I'm celebrating the fact that I get to just be home today and just be with family, be with my dogs, right? So they can do stuff with them throughout the day. But yeah, it's just been a great week. Like I don't even know where to start. Like my list of celebrations is not just one thing; it's many things. But being at home is definitely at the top of my celebration list today. How about you, Heather? What are you celebrating?
I love it. Well, John, we are committed to always improving our podcast.
Mm,
And one of the things that we want to do is have guests booked for every Friday going forward so that we are activating a community of celebration. And so I've been doing some interviews with guests that could
mm,
potentially be on our podcast, telling them the celebration moments, telling them that what a Say Yes story is and how we would like it told to our audience and the impact and influence when they come on our podcast as a guest that it can be. And every time I tell this story, John, I tell this story about how me and you became a podcaster or a LinkedIn live show. It was completely by accident and we said yes to it. People are just amazed because it really is sometimes the simplest things. We just say yes to one little thing and then it cascades to more and more and more. And that's the essence of the storytelling that we evoke
mm.
from our listeners, but also from our special guests. So I've made amazing connections this week. I've had coffee chats with all kinds of people. And let me tell you, anyone listening today, we've got some amazing guests that are coming up to end the new
Mm.
year, but we're booking right into February now. So that makes me so excited, John.
Yeah, listen, it's definitely a progression. We talk about making those small incremental changes consistently. And we've had guests, so it's not the first time that we're having guests, but the structure that we put around having guests has really changed. So we talk
Mm-hmm.
about just start, right? Like you don't need to know the how, you figure it out as you go along. And the beautiful part is you can make those incremental changes as you go along. And Heather, I love the fact that you're interviewing our guests before they actually come on the show. It's going to be amazing. Like I just took a quick read of some of their bios and some of their headlines and what they're going to be sharing with us. And I'm excited, and I get to be on the show and I get to ask all the questions. So it's so cool.
The benefits of being the host of this show. You always get to ask the question first. That's fantastic. So Moise is actually Moise, thank you for sharing. So Moise is back at the gym. Yes, yes, yes. And learning Arabic. So I love that. And then
Nice.
I love this little sprinkle of a breadcrumb and more good things to come soon. So he's working on some really cool stuff to make 2024 his best year yet. And Moise, if I know you, and I do know you well, you have had a vision of doing these things. You believe it's possible and you're taking action now. And that's the secret formula. Visualize it, believe it, take action, and then of course the results come. They come right after all of those three things are fulfilled. So congratulations on you. And anyone else out there that wants to celebrate with us, we would love to hear what you're celebrating this week. And now it's reflection time for the whole year too. So what are you celebrating for the whole year? When you reflect on your year, what went well? And I know our brains always go to what didn't go well, but it's always important to stay balanced. What went well? And then what do you want to just improve on? What did you learn also through the process? There's no winning, there's no losing. It's only learning that happens when it doesn't go the way exactly how you thought it would. And
Yeah, no, I love it. I love it.
Me and you have learned lots this year.
Yeah. No, we definitely have learned a lot. We've grown a lot. So I think that's, when you think about a goal, you think about a vision in terms of what you want for yourself. It's about the growth that happens, right? And we talked about this yesterday, as an aside, you and I were just chatting, and we didn't even know that we would be here, right? Like we knew we had a vision to impact, right? How we were going to impact was, one of the ways we did know was through this show, but we didn't realize that we'd be impacting as professors. We didn't know that we'd be impacting as speakers, as trainers, as, guest speakers at events. Like we just didn't know that.
Yeah. And if we
Right.
would have been prescriptive, if we would have been so attached to the how, we would have missed all of those opportunities, John. None of those would have come to fruition if we would have been so prescriptive in our plan to say it must look like this. All of those opportunities would have just passed us by. And those opportunities were always there. We just opened up what I'll call the portal to let them come in, because we made a pact for ourselves to continue to grow, to continue to impact 1 million people this year. And so when you're, putting a goal out there for something you've never done before, you have to think differently and do different things. And so having a 3-day a week LinkedIn live show and podcast is one way to positive influence. But that has cascaded to so many other opportunities. And it's not, one thing that changes everything. It's the consistency that changes everything.
Yeah, no, 100%. Listen, and I just want to take a second to acknowledge and celebrate Felicia, who's just completed her high performance leadership project. She did her concluding speech this week. Congratulations, Felicia! You're on your way to becoming a DTM. Super excited for you, and I'm looking forward to being invited to that celebration ceremony when you do get your DTM designation. So just putting it out there. Looking forward to, hey, listen, I love parties. I love celebrating. So please don't forget me, Felicia. Please include me. It's going to be a great time. Actually, what's really neat is Toastmasters has this tradition of when people get their DTM, they line up all the DTMs that are in the room and you high five the new DTM. It's such a cool way of just bringing in that new designation, all that work, all that effort, and celebrating the work that they've put into it, right? So listen, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to that high five DTM moment with you, Felicia. So yeah, and we're watching this, right? Like we get to see this as it's happening, right? Because a lot of people, they do things and you don't really get to see the experience. You talk about it afterwards, but this is what it takes, right? Like we talked about the action, and you led into that a little bit earlier, Heather. It's about the action, right? The action of just doing, right? Like, we were talking about just, before we started in the B-roll was, is it belief? Is it action? And you need both, right? You need the action to build belief, and belief strengthens action. So, just keep going back and forth.
Yes. Yes. And if you're, not really on the belief side, if there's like a little bit of doubt, just take action, and then your belief gets activated and leveled up. And that's sort of that beautiful thing, is that even if you're still unsure, even if anxiety is coming in, just take one little baby action. I was able to talk at a women's event this week, and someone reached out to me afterwards on LinkedIn, which, by the way, we love. And she asked, what should I do? I want to become a public speaker. So of course, what did I tell her? Toastmasters, find your community and practice, practice, practice. But she was looking for that next step. But what I also honored, because I'd asked for the group, is do one small baby step in the next 24 hours. And that reach out to me was her step. Now, I don't know if she knew that that was her step, but I congratulated her for taking that one step. And of course, I also left her some breadcrumbs to come back to me and let me know. So here, I am invested in your celebrations as well, because it's part of, how we actually activate a higher level of energy so that we are feeling really, really good about it. And this vision, this belief, this action, this results, I still notice that people as they're getting older, they're trying to wind down. They're trying to do less.
Mm-hmm.
They're using the excuse of I'm too old to get this done, or it's too late, or I wish I would have gone to school, or I wish I would have done something else. And I don't know about you, John, but every day that I am feeling more amazing, and I want to do more, not less. And you know I told you what got me activated this week. So Dolly Parton, amazing country
Mm,
music singer, she
yeah.
launched her very first rock album last week. Okay, this woman is 77 years old and decides to launch a rock album. And let me tell you, she is rocking the leather pants like there is no tomorrow. And when I saw this, John, I was like, oh my goodness, my belief system of what 77 years old looks like and what's
Mm,
possible just got blown out of the water, like completely blown out
yeah.
of the water. And that is my North Star now, not to be Dolly Parton because I can't sing, but to remember that there are people that are doing amazing things, being their authentic self and doing more. And this week I had an amazing week. I was completely accomplished and exhausted at the same time, and I
Mm.
learned I could do more. And so that's the lesson. Wow, I've got tons of lessons that came at me this week, and I needed all of them. I needed all of these lessons. So, John, I know you have some opinions about Dolly Parton too, because you saw
Yeah,
her
no,
Netflix.
yeah, I know I did. And listen, and I've talked about this before, right? Just finding models of the world that are doing the things that you want to do, no matter how far along in life they are, right? So you're right. I used to, and it wasn't that long ago that I used to think that 60 and 70 was like this is where you start to wind down and start to make that exit, right? But I'm seeing more and more evidence of people in their 60s and 70s getting stronger, getting, contributing more to the world than they did in their 30s and 40s. Just, I think about the impact that they're making and showing, I did a meditation this week. And I just want to share this because this is my vulnerable moment. I'm just going to share this for a second. But I sat and I meditated and I wondered, why are there like so many strong influencers in my life right now who are later into their years, right? Like people in their 60s and 70s and just thriving. Like, I mean, weightlifting, yoga, hiking, running. Like, I'm going to triathlons and I'm seeing gentlemen and women in their 60s, 70s, and 80s completing these events, right? And I'm like, why is this all showing up for me? And then my mom passed away fairly early, right? She passed away at the age of 63, and it was her anniversary just 2 weeks ago. And you know, I kind of felt like that was that nudge from her to say, "Hey, look, there's more for you, right? There's
Mm,
more here for you. You just need to pay attention. I'm sending you guides, right? Like you just need to listen to them, pay attention because they're there to help you. I'm showing you, or at least I'm guiding you in a way to show you what's possible." And
wow.
I was blown away by that. I'm like, oh my gosh, like it's all there around me. And all I have to do is just pay attention, say yes, right? Like I need to say yes to health. I need to say yes to movement. I need to say yes to new thoughts. I need to say yes to learning. I just need to keep saying yes. And
Wow.
for me, it just blew me away. It was such a precious moment. I was like, oh my, and this is the power of meditation, right? Because you get to, make that connection with the world outside of you. And sometimes there's a signal that just comes your way and it's like, right.
Wow. Wow. That is fantastic. That is unbelievable, John. And I'm just, my heart is touched to just think of how your mom is sending you guides. Like, what a beautiful,
Mm-hmm.
beautiful thing. And I love this. Find a model of the world. Find a model
Mm-hmm.
of someone who's doing it. This word retirement, it it means something different now to me. In fact, I don't even
Mhm.
think I like the word. It doesn't feel authentic anymore, because retirement before was you stop doing something, you stop working, you start to relax, and you start to, and actually, why aren't we just
Enjoy.
enjoy, right? Why are we not
Yeah.
just putting that as part of our process for everyday living, and the impact that we want to make everyday living? And we live our lives right to the end on purpose, absolutely on purpose. When my dad
Mm.
was sick, I've shared this story. He did have cancer, and there was a year worth of going to the hospital. And that last year of his life, although it should have been really painful knowing that there was going to be an end very soon, he didn't avoid it. He just celebrated life. And let me tell you, everyone, my dad had suffered from mental illness before that. And so his last year of life, when he got cancer, was his best year ever.
Mm.
So, that lesson comes back at me all the time to remind myself that I don't need to wait for a diagnosis of death. I know it's coming, but celebrate that it's coming by living every single day at your best self and being the best version of yourself. And that's why we do these celebration Fridays, so that we can remind ourselves, remind you as our listeners, that we are doing amazing things, and there's still amazing things to come.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? You're lighting me up. I'm starting to feel the fire. I'm ready to go. Um, yeah, there's so many lessons, right? And a lot of it is just paying attention, right? Like we can see this, we're experiencing this. The expression "you only live once," yeah, right? YOLO, you only live once. The truth is, you don't live once. You live every single day is an opportunity to live again. And the key is just keep going, right? Like you got this. We all go through moments. There's challenging moments. There's tough moments, but we got this. You got this. We can do this together. This is why I love community. This is why I love this podcast, is because we get to share celebrations. Like for me now, celebrations is just something we just do, right? Like that's just happening. Um, uh, and we're just going through the process of sharing what we know how to do.
Mm.
So, the goal is just to keep sharing, to keep moving forward, to live every single day,
Yeah.
right?
Live every single day and live with a positive energy, so that when, people come into our lives that bring negative energy, we actually just go, it's okay, go live your life. And it's really important that we bring that positive energy and bring the community together. So again, the Say Yes Movement podcast, the community, we are so thankful for all of you
Yeah.
for joining us and listening and spending time with us. Time is precious, and we are so, so thankful for that. So here's our call to action. I think, John, we're at that point where it's call to action. I'm looking outside, and it snowed last, so I have the first snow where I am. I know, it's
All right.
crazy.
You do. I don't. Okay.
And
Thank
but
goodness.
but don't let that get away from you. Get outside, get in that
Mm.
crisp air. And people are getting in the holiday season. I put my Christmas tree up. It's actually right beside me. And celebrate with family this week. Celebrate living with joy and purpose every single day. And it's the weekend, so it's a really easy thing to do. And there's going to be hustle and bustle that comes with the weekend. And just take a moment, breathe it in, and notice how everything around you is exactly what you chose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just take that time and just be present. Right. So, I can't believe we're already here. Celebration Friday. So here's the one thing I also want to just quickly share. The way to compound your celebration is to share it with others. Right. So
Mm-hmm.
take that moment, whether you're at the dinner table with friends and family tonight, just share a celebration or ask the people around you, what are you celebrating? And actually, you'll always get that. What do you mean? What am I celebrating? It's a great conversation starter, but it's also a great way to lift the energy up in the room. So I'm going to invite you to go try that this weekend. Heather, we got our takeaway for today. So it's beautiful. Just remember, when you shift your mindset, you shift your life. Wishing you all a great one. We'll catch you next week. Take care, everybody.